This is a story about a Baltimore mayor who's pretty much being put under fire for his practices in regards to the crime rate in Baltimore, where he seeks to decrease the crime rate. At the end of the day, no one man can change, the ills of a society or the ills of a city, especially a city like Baltimore. Even though it's similar to a lot of cities and states, Baltimore is really, really fucked up. At the end of the day, I understand that certain people have to be held accountable based over the positions that they're in, but the brother should use a little help. There should be some resources for the brother in order for him to enact some change. But the problem is not necessarily on a politician or a mayor or a president. It's all about the household. It's all about how a person is raised, how a young man is raised, the culture. Obviously, when it comes to our people, we're cultureless. We have no culture. We have no uniform understanding of how we should conduct ourselves and what we should be adhering to. We live in a chaotic environment, a chaotic world, a confused based world. So this is what we're going to see. And we can't necessarily hold people to the fire too much, because at the end of the day, it's all about what we do in our own households. It's all about, the person that's looking in the mirror and understanding that when it comes to self-improvement, it's all about making better decisions. It's the household. It's not no fucking politician. But at the same time, if you have stake in the political atmosphere, or if you have some sort of trust or some sort of strength in the political sphere, then, maybe it's something that's within your right when it comes to you wanting to hold someone accountable. At the end of the day, if you voted for this person, then of course you're going to have that right, or you're going to have that mentality of blaming the person that is in that position. I understand that. But at the same time, we still have to be mindful of, you know, correcting our own selves when it comes to our households and our own retinue and whatnot.
And breaking news tonight, Mayor Brandon Scott cancels a trip overseas. Good evening, I'm Maxine Stryker.
And I'm Kai Jackson. The mayor was set to fly across the Atlantic to take part in a documentary premiere highlighting his crime reduction strategy.
A strategy that has yet to see murders fall below 300 per year here in Baltimore and is facing some tough questions. Keith Daniels is live with this story now. Keith.
Well, Maxine and Kai, it's a new film about the mayor. Here's the poster. It highlights, as you mentioned, his crime-fighting plan, one that he considers to be successful, with the mayor going to England to be a part of the global premiere. But tonight, why that trip is canceled.
And I made a promise to Baltimore.
Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott out front each time during most city news events. Notably present, of course, as the city's leader amid critical circumstances. But coming soon to a theater not near you. The Body Politic, a documentary to debut on the mayor's endeavors to curb violence in the city. The 92-minute film debuting this week at the Sheffield Doc Fest in England. The story, first reported by the Baltimore Brew, confirmed by Fox 45 News. Dr. Trevor Perry Giles.
But it's a pretty sophisticated way to campaign for re-election.
A professor of political communication and rhetoric at the University of Maryland calls Scott's movie simply a political ploy.
What else would it be? With a mayor running for re-election in the next year or so, there's nothing about anything that he does that isn't political.
The film is set to debut in England Thursday. The mayor is scheduled to be there for the premiere, even though there was no word of that from his office. But late tonight, a sudden change of plans. The update coming after our questions to the mayor's office, including what days will the mayor be out of the country? Does he intend to have a viewing in Baltimore City? If so, when? And who is paying for the trip? Those questions sent at about 3:30 today. 5 hours later, a response from the mayor's office saying the mayor's schedule has actually changed and he will no longer be attending the premiere because of other pressing priorities.
And what do those other pressing priorities entail? Does it entail trying to reduce the crime rate, trying to lower and decrease the number of crimes? Are you trying to enact some sort of change, implement some sort of change when it comes to, the overall improvement of Baltimore? Like, what do these priorities entail? These pressing priorities? Because it just seems like brand building when it comes to him being in the news regarding, him missing the premiere, him planning on going to the premiere, but then, canceling on it in regards to it being about him, knowing that these things are occurring on his watch when it comes to him being a mayor. But at the same time, I say his watch, but we should not be putting that much power, into these people. We should not be immersing ourselves into the political world to the point where, we put all our trust and all our strength in these people, because these people, they just fucking characters. It is no disrespect towards a so-called black man that wants to implement some sort of change when it comes to his community or when it comes to him meaning well. But at the same time, we should already understand that it's about the household. It's about, when you wake up in the morning, do you have a foundation in your household? Or are you someone who's lost and doesn't have an understanding of how to move in this society because you come from a broken home? That's what it is in this world. These are the problems. The problem's all about the household. It's all about what we've been mistaught or what we've been taught. That's what it's really about. It's not about no fucking politician. It's not about no president and none of that shit. It's really about the household.
Still, the show will go on. According to the festival's website, the documentary was filmed during the 2020 mayoral campaign and Scott's first year in office as he sought a holistic approach to reducing gun violence, an approach Scott has said has been successful. Homicides and non-fatal shootings are down compared to this time last year, but a deeper dive into the data shows crime overall is not going in the right direction. According to
So that there is contradictory. That's just contradictory. It doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, there's no improvement when it comes to the crime rate. It's getting worse. And like I said, I don't want to just say on his watch, because this has been at play for years. This is something that has to be fixed through traumatic events. That's what's gonna fix all this shit. A traumatic event.
EPD data, as of May 27th, total Part 1 crime is up 20% compared to last year. That includes robberies, carjackings, rapes, and auto thefts. Total violent crime is down 4%, but that stat does not include common assault, which is up 13%.
He knows, and his campaign knows.
So the
that
data, excuse me. So the data is just a little bit muddy when it comes to those numbers. At the end of the day, it's all about the household, like I said. It's not going to be an improvement when it comes to the overall crime rate reducing, because at the end of the day, the vibration is still going to be the vibration. It's going to perpetuate itself.
Numbers probably don't add up, and that they're not going to be as persuasive. So what do? You find a documentary and a documentarian who's going to present an image of you, and based on what you sent and what it looks like this documentary does, is he's a crime-fighting, forthright, honest guy who's out there working hard for the people of Baltimore.
At the end of the day, I don't want to cast his brother into the fire too much because, he's trying. But what the guy just said, it makes a lot of sense. Because what the brother's doing is brand building, just when it comes to the promotion of the film or the documentary, as well as the numbers being skewed when it comes to his time in that position where he says that the crime rate has went down. It hasn't. The numbers, the data shows that it's contradictory. So it's all about understanding politics. All that shit is bullshit, man. And it's been bullshit ever since the inception of it. It's bullshit. It's all about the household. It's all about trying to establish some sort of foundation when it comes to the understanding of spirituality, when it comes to the Most High. That's what you should seek after for salvation and tranquility and fulfillment. Not no damn mayor or a fucking president. Who gives a fuck about these people? You know what I mean? I respect the fact that you have certain presidents or mayors and whatnot in those positions who mean well. But that's all you can take from that, is the fact that certain ones, they mean well. Some of them just don't understand what they're in, what they're a part of. They're a part of a corrupt system. The body politic. Man, I don't want to castigate this brother too much, man. At the end of the day, he's, he has a big role to fill. It's just the understanding of these people brand building themselves. Like this brother here, he's just brand building himself. So a part of it is a little, I don't want to say deceptive, but it's not coming from a place that's genuine. You know what I mean? So, we have to understand the importance of establishing the understanding of what we need to do in a household when it comes to how we conduct ourselves, when it comes to what we're taught in a household. Even if you didn't grow up with a mother or father, when I say household, it's just all about you. You know what I mean? That's really what I mean when I say household. Just the understanding of what all these things stem from. You wake up in the morning, you go to school. You wake up in the morning, you go to the store. Like your base. What are you doing to improve yourself when it comes to you chilling on your base? Whether you're young and you're growing up with two parents or one parent or a grandmother, whatever. What are you learning? What are you getting from that supervision or that guardianship? How is she or he molding you to become the best person that you can be when you get out of the household and you go to school, or you just, you get out of the house and you go about, about your life? You get what I mean? So when I say household, it's really about the foundation, you know? Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32, it says, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand." So when it says thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, it's not just talking about this captivity that we're in when it comes to us being subjected to the heathen or other nations. It's also talking about the fact that we're subjected to this system. And when it comes to the system that's in place, we're subjected to putting people on a pedestal, such as politicians and whatnot. So we're given unto another people just based off of the understanding of how we're supposed to be disparate from all this stuff. We're supposed to be separate from all this stuff. When we separate ourselves from this system, we won't really care about politicians and what they're doing for us. If, every so-called black man and woman who's a descendant from Israel, if we was to conform to these tenets, you wouldn't be having the situation that you have in Baltimore. So that's my overall point. We've been detached from what we're supposed to be living up to, and this is why we suffer. This is why we suffer. And when it says, "and there shall be no might in thine hand," it's just talking about the lack of strength in our community. We do not have a strong community at all, bro. At all. This is why we're at the bottom. So that's what it's talking about when it says, "and there shall be no might in thine hand," meaning the lack of strength. We're powerless.